On Kochie's Business Builders, the signage company wanting to move up in the world. What's the best way to fund a building extension? We ask the experts. Also, the eco-warrior cleaning up our oceans. His business is making waves around the world. And the company that's been around for 40 years, the new generation at the helm of Oz Design Furniture. Hello and welcome to Kochie's Business Builders. If you own a small business, you'll know by now that financing it can be a challenge. From cash flow, tax payments, paying yourself and investing in growth, the list goes on. So we're visiting a business today looking for some financial advice, and we've called in an expert from NAB to help. Graphico is a signage company based in Melbourne that's looking to grow. But to do that, the warehouse needs to expand. So the owner wants to know the financing options available to get a much needed extension off the ground. Damien Corney is mad about signage. He's the founder of Graphico, a Melbourne-based business specialising in custom print wallpapers, tiles and auto wrapping. The business is thriving, so much so, his team has almost outgrown the warehouse. So, Dan Carr from NAB is here to take Damien through his option when it comes to funding the next phase of business growth.
So can you tell us why you chose to start your own business?
I chose to start my own business. I was quite young. I started the business up whilst I was studying design at university and always wanted to work for myself, and then grew the business over the years and graduated, and then decided, well, I had no real commitments there. I had no family at the time, or a wife, so I decided, well, I'll take the plunge and went straight into it, and sort of 15 years later, here we are.
Yeah, so Damien, you've come a long way in 15 years. What's next on the cards for you?
Approximately about 2 years ago, we put a mezzanine at the back here, and that helped us grow immensely because we put our production team in there and our wide format printers and all the machinery, and that's worked so well that we've sort of gone back to the people that built that and started designing another one to sit at the front of the factory. If we can complete this mezzanine, then we can continue the growth path that we're on. So we can add some more staff and team, and we can expand our production facility. So that basically also enables us to stay in our warehouse here without having to move, which is not something we want to do.
So have you thought about how you're going to finance the extension?
Yeah, look, we have. Initially, the first one that we did, we did that ourselves with our own savings, but this particular plan is going to probably be a little bit larger and require a few more funds, so we would probably have to look at some financing options to help us complete that construction. What are your thoughts on how that could be financed?
Yeah, so look, I think the things that we'll go through I'll probably break into two parts. The first one is the construction itself and the project itself. You know, again, how much of your own retained cash have you got to put into it? Do you have security to offer that might make the interest rate lower? What sort of term do you think you'll need to be able to pay it back? But then the second side of it is, you know, this project's going to generate additional growth, additional employees, etc. So we need to think about your working capital. You're probably going to put some equipment and some new equipment into that as well. So we should consider the full range of financing around the project, probably not just the construction. What I've found is really important is that in the early stages of kind of assessing a project, just you understanding what different financing options, whether it's, you know, retained earnings, whether it's working capital, or whether it's longer term debt, and how that impacts how you go forward with your expansion.
Well, I guess being from a design background, we're not traditionally great in finances, but having our business coach on hand and our accountant, of course, has really sort of helped us get in a new sort of mindset that we haven't been before. He just kept giving us that old analogy that, you know, a pilot can't fly without its instrumentation, and the business is the same. So without measuring our performance, whether it be as simple as sales or financial performance, then, you know, we're kind of flying blind. So we've really learned that over the years, and that's been a big change of how the business has been run.
Coming up, what loan should Damien apply for to get his mezzanine plans off paper and into construction? Do you employ 19 people or fewer? If the answer is yes, then you'll soon be required to report to the ATO through single-touch payroll. The new rules come into effect from July 1. That means employers will have to report details of salaries, PAYG withholding and superannuation each time they pay their staff. Companies with 20 or more workers have been using the system since July last year. If you do find it hard to adjust, the ATO is giving businesses a grace period until September 30. On the other hand, if you want to start reporting early, you can do that too. All you have to do is update your payroll software to one that is STP ready.
Hi, I'm David Freeman, the founder of HT Cocoa, and I love small business.
You're watching Kochie's Business Builders. Today we're visiting a signage company looking to build an extension in its North Melbourne warehouse. We brought in an expert from NAB to take Damien through his options. Graphico is run by a husband and wife team, passionate about spicing up spaces with their custom design prints. Damien and Adele started the business 15 years ago, and it's come a long way since then.
Well, basically, because we've really sort of focused on our sort of business processes in the last few years and expanded our team quite a lot, I think basically we've got a proper 5-year plan now and we're sort of looking at growing further. There's a few things that obviously holding us back, but we want to get over those so we can grow more.
The main issue holding them back is floor space, so it's time to bring in the builders.
So I jumped online and I saw that NAB has a quick biz option. Is that sort of loan something that could be suitable for us?
Given our chat earlier and knowing that you're using Xero as your accounting package, you can actually apply online. And in most cases, we can actually draw down that loan and get you your funds within a day of receiving the contracts back. But we also have instant links in with MYOB Essentials accounting as well. And we're soon to have a link with QuickBooks accounting as well for other people who use different accounting packages. And even if you don't have cloud accounting, you can actually just manually upload to the website and still go through that QuickBiz loan application process.
So what sort of documents do we need to provide to make sure that the application's successful?
Yeah, good question. So look, obviously what we're trying to do here is make sure we've got the right information to make the right decision for you and, recommend the right solution. But also we don't want to be going into like really onerous areas of documentation that's time consuming and expensive for you to prepare. So for the type of scenario we're talking about with the mezzanine extension, the key pieces of information are going to be up-to-date financial accounts.
Yep.
The business plan you've been working on with your business coach, and then also any forecasts you've got associated with it, because this plan is about growth in your business, so it's important we take that into consideration.
So why do you think it's helpful to have a point of contact at NAB?
Yeah, so look, as you'd know, no business is the same, and businesses are really dynamic. Being a business is really dynamic. So as you evolve, you're going to go through a wide variety of needs to get in touch with banking, whether it's be you open a new branch and you need to be able to take payments, or you go online, you need to be able to take payments. Maybe you start exporting overseas, or a lot more of your materials start being imported. There's many events that'll kind of drive you to need some form of banking service or solution. And at NAB, we've got a wide variety of people who can help you with that. So it's not just your business banker, but they have access to a wide range of specialists, from people who are specialising in equipment finance, interest rate and currency risk management, transactional banking and payments, and even trade and working capital solutions. So having that point of contact with us allows you to access a wide variety of expertise when you need it.
If you want to apply for a NAB QuickBiz loan, there are several criteria you need to ensure you're eligible. Firstly, you must be a sole trader, a partnership with up to 2 partners, a company with up to 5 directors, or a trustee of an eligible trust. You must also be registered for GST, have a valid ABN or ACN. You'll need to provide 12 months of business financial data from your accounting package. And finally, you must be at least 18 and a permanent resident of Australia. Damien, make sure you keep in touch. We'd love to see the new extension. Now, to pillars of success, helping you build solid foundations for your small business. Nicola Morass is here with advice on digital marketing.
This week's pillar of success is all about building a powerful presence online. There are many digital platforms to choose from, each with their own set of quirks and benefits. Let's take a quick look at the major platforms that you can use to get you and your business out there. There's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, blogging on your website, vlogging on your website, podcasting, YouTube, and Snapchat. There are so many platforms to put yourself out there. But how do you know which to choose, especially when you're time poor? There's a myth that you need to be across all platforms in order to be visible. It is not true. You do, however, need to use some of them strategically and in a way that is going to help you to connect with your audience. I'm going to get you to start with a baseline of 3 and then work up from there. To make it easier, I've chosen the first 2 platforms, Facebook and either blogging or vlogging on your website. So you only have to choose the third. The reason I'm choosing Facebook business page is because 2.2 billion people are on the social network every month. The second platform is your website because it gives people a place to research you and get to know you. It gives them another way outside of social media to hear what you have to say about your area of expertise. You can have a page for testimonials, a page for how people can work with you, a blog page, and you can offer different ways of learning from you by giving away free information. The third platform is your choice because you know your people and the platform that they are most likely to be on in addition to Facebook. Moral of the story, you need to know who your audience is and where they are hanging out. Then you need to be present on the platforms where they are spending the most time.
Coming up, a man on a mission to clean up our oceans. His inspiring business idea is next.
Hi, my name's Scott Shedden.
And I'm David Shedden, and we're 2 of the 4 kids of the 2nd generation of the Oz Design Furniture family. Here's our top 3 tips for business success.
Our first tip is focusing on the customer experience. Retail is much more than just selling a product. It's everything from the first point of contact to the after-sales service and everything in between. You have to make sure that your back-end processes are as seamless as your front end. A customer that has a positive experience in store that exceeds their expectations will be a customer for life.
Our second tip is remaining relevant. In a design and fashion-driven industry, you need to understand what your customer needs and wants. Once you can identify this, you can start to develop a USP and then develop and source products that will fulfill those wants. Once you do this, marketing will become 10 times easier.
And our third tip is people. Surrounding yourself with great people with unique skill sets that you don't have is the most important thing you can do for the success of your business. It's quite easy getting good people, but the really hard part is actually holding on to them. So you have to make sure you do everything in your power to look after your people, and they will give you everything in return.
So those are our top 3 tips for business success.
And all the best for growing your own business.
Now to a man with a passion for the environment. Pete Koglinski is on a mission to clean up our oceans. He's created the Sea Bin project, basically putting a big pool skimmer in docks around the world to collect rubbish. An ingenious idea which has really taken off.
When we first started this, we knew that the Sea Bin project, it was going to be pretty big because of this global problem, but we never ever envisioned just how much attention that it's got globally. We have scaled up from, I think it was 7 countries to about 23 countries at the moment. And just about every month or month and a half, there's a new distributor or a sales agent in another country that are literally screaming for solutions for the debris and the plastic in the water. When our campaign video went viral, there's been over 1 billion views of the video, and just all these people like, we should have thought about that, and it's so simple. It's just, it's a pool skimmer, and why didn't we do it, and all this sort of stuff. And it was literally, it's just the most simple lateral idea of, if you have a rubbish bin on the land, why don't you just put one in the water? And that's what we did. We have faced quite a few challenges over the last few years. I guess the first challenge was that I've never had a business before, and it was, how do I reinvent myself to do this with no money? And so what I did to solve this, I went to crowdfunding, and then the next challenge was, how do you sell a product that nobody can have, but it benefits all of us? And so I had to get quite creative with marketing. I was always the guy in the room that was asking the stupid questions. I would have my phone out, sometimes Googling what these people were talking about. I'd be like on YouTube, learning how to do stuff. And it was just being open and receptive and using a little bit of common sense. The most commonly caught items that we're collecting is microplastics, so plastics anything from 5 millimetres and less. Food wrappers, so snack bars or chip packets, cigarette butts, polystyrene balls. There was a cowboy boot and a pineapple that was actually caught at the same time in one of the sea bins in San Diego. And probably the best thing that I found was $20 in New Zealand. Our mission is to live in a world without the need for sea bins. So, the plastic shouldn't be there, and we shouldn't have to need a sea bin to deal with it. And so basically our goal is to do ourselves out of business and not have a need for sea bins. The amount of rubbish that we're collecting is around 1.4 tonnes of marine litter per day. So we have 354 units in the water. Each one's getting 3.9 kilos on average. And so, 1.4 tonnes a day. And when we're talking about this marine litter, it's like chip packets and snack wrappers and stuff that only weighs a few, grams, and it doesn't weigh much at all. But once it's all consolidated, it's quite an impact, and we've only got 354 units in the water. So can you imagine, if you had 1,000 or 10,000 units globally, like the impact that you could have? We thought about this really hard, like what's the solution to ocean plastics? And there is no one solution, but it all still comes back to education. Because if you know what happens, or if you're a bit smarter with what you do or what you purchase, we can mitigate the amount of plastic entering the ocean, and that, I think, is the real solution. The goal is to get off the dock. So at the moment, we're in the marinas and ports and yacht clubs, and for us, in 5 years, we'll be off the dock, we'll be into the bays and marinas, and then we would be actually 7 years into our 12-year plan was to have mobile units or mobile technology that we can head out to the blue water or the open ocean with.
You can only imagine the impact that could have. Good on you, Pete. Keep up the important work. Still to come on Kochie's Business Builders, Word on the Street. We'll ask small business owners what they really think. It's time for Word on the Street, helping to answer some of your biggest questions. This week we asked people, why did you start your own business?
I started my own business because I've always been very creative, and I really just wanted to establish my own creative identity and get my ideas out into the world.
For me, it came down to freedom. I really wanted to have a business where I could, do things on my own terms and really push and try to achieve everything that I wanted to.
I started my own business because I wanted to solve problems that I didn't see other people doing.
It's always been a way of making a little bit of money and changing things around, and I think when I stumbled across this, I thought this could be really good, and I reckon I can make this work.
The reason I first originally started was the idea was given to me from a Bikram yoga class when the teacher gave me a fresh coconut, and was kind of one of those light bulb moments. But The real underlining reason around me wanting to start it was to be able to empower people's lives towards making every day healthier.
The main push for me was flexibility. I actually started when I already had my son and I was pregnant with my daughter, and I just saw the journey ahead, and I just wanted to be able to still work and contribute and have that satisfaction, but I need the flexibility that small children need and require each day.
Now for Ask Kochie, where you send me in a question and I do my best to answer it.
Hi Kochie, my name is Lottie and I run Banish, which is an eco-friendly online store and education platform. I launched it about a year ago. It's completely plastic free from shipping to all of the products that we stock, and we've got a really good social media following of over 10,000 people, an email database which is growing every day, and we're getting pretty good sales at the moment. But what I would really like your help with is how do we take it to the next level? There are so many different things that we're thinking of, but we're just not really sure where to start.
For my answer to that question and more, visit our Facebook page every Tuesday from 12:30 Eastern. And of course, feel free to throw me any other questions you might have as well. Coming up next week, does your business need a reality check? The holistic business coach transforming the way we do business. And don't forget, you can catch up on this episode and plenty more at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au. See you next time for more Kochie's Business Builders.